I worked on this yesterday when Linda was here. So Linda, you've seen some of this. I'm not sure that I had this whole thing put together yet. So I'm going to show you this. And there's a couple of techniques on here that are really fun. And I apologize, I do need to run out. I spritzed these pieces, and I'm gonna do that as part of that, but I will have to run out in a minute and grab that. I will tell you that the Forever Grateful here, I used from this stamp set, threw it together. I don't know if you have this, but I want to tell you, this is an amazing stamp set, and I'm not sure why I haven't pulled it out more. It's just so much encouragement. Praying for blankets of healing around you and yours. You're capable of great things. May your comeback be stronger than your setback. You're proof that there's good in the world. I'm here for you. Stay strong, my friend. Sending you this paper hug. So much good stuff in here, and we need this today. So I'm going to encourage you, if you don't have the stamp set, buy it and start using it to send cards. Get cards out there to people who are lonely, who are discouraged. We definitely need to do more of that. At least I do. Okay, so let me tell you about some of the things that I used on here. You can see the embossing folder. This is one of our 3-inch embossing folders that does this pretty leaf. And this is on Blackberry Bliss. Let me grab my other stuff here. Oh, I do have everything. See, Cindy, you should trust yourself more. Okay, so I have 2 spritzers. They are filled with alcohol and then some ink refills. This one has, and it's funny how muddy it looks. I'm just really surprised at that. This one has crushed curry in it. This one has Blackberry Bliss in it. This one had some for pink in it before, and I just added Blackberry Bliss to it. Going to be using some of our gold lame, I call it gold lame ribbon, which is not available right this minute, but hopefully will soon be. And let's see, I'm using some of our Blackberry Beauty designer paper for the accents. I'm using some of our gold shimmer vellum for this leaf. And then I'm using some of our Celebration Glimmer, and I know you can't get this right now. I think it's coming back because it's on the to be determined list, so maybe it's coming back for later. I don't know. All I'm saying is what I saw on the inventory list. And then I have 2 tags from our tags, lots of tags dies. So I have one in Rich Razzleberry and one in Blackberry Bliss. This is the smallest one, I believe, and this is the largest one of this design. There's 2 different designs with that. And then I have some of our leaves. So I already have some of this colored, but I want to show you how. I'm going to need a bunch of scrap paper here. This is very, very messy, and I'm going to just move. I don't want to mess up my card for sure. So I'm going to take the shimmery paper. Let me just get that out here, the celebration paper. So I want these 2 pieces yellow, and I want these 2 pieces blackberry. So I'm just going to scoot some paper around here and protect my surface a little bit, because I do get messy, as you guys well know, right? Okay, that should be good. All right, so let's start with our yellow, and I'm just going to shake it up a little bit. Again, alcohol and ink refill. The alcohol helps it to dry fast, but I think it also helps it to stick to this glitter. Once it's dry, it does not seem to come off. I would not use water with this technique because it's going on the glitter, so I definitely would encourage you to use alcohol. And for this technique, I really don't think it matters what type of alcohol. And I'm saturating it really good because I want it to sink down into the paper underneath, because I want it to color everything. And then I'm going to do this one this direction just so I don't get it on the yellow. Then I'm going to do these in the blackberry. If I can squeeze it. I think I'm nervous about squeezing it. Yeah, see? I made quite a mess. This one really goes. Okay. All right, so now I'm going to just set them aside to dry. And we'll get rid of some of these messy pieces and wet pieces. Okay. All right, so let's come back to here. And while those dry, we'll work on the rest of the card. So I have taken my 8.5 by 5.5 card, and I've cut 1 inch off of the edge so that this is my opening. And I'm going to attach this piece, which is 3 inches, leaving me a little bit of room here to put my gold piece that we just made. Okay, so let me go ahead and get that stuck on here. This is going to be a little longer demo than I typically do on our Wednesday or on our What's Up Wednesday. So I understand if you have to run and come back and watch it later, but I appreciate those of you that are joining us. Okay, now I do have some pieces that are already done, and maybe I didn't bring those. Okay, all right, that's all right. We'll wait for those to dry. For this piece, I scored, I forget where I scored it at. What I did was I just laid it on here to see where I wanted it to come to on my card, and I just sort of made a little mark. And I would guess that's a little over 1/2 inch. And then I brought my scoring tool in, and yeah, it's just a little over 1/2 inch. And then I just scored that so that it was nice and straight. And now I can fold that. Now before I stick it on here, I want to add a little bit of stamping to that. And the set that I'm using is the Gorgeous Leaves set. Because this is part of my Stamps in the Mail this month. And for anybody who may have missed this, I will be posting a tutorial for my team, a free tutorial once I'm finished. It doesn't include these, the tutorial will include these 2 projects that I'm showing you today, but the class does not include the projects, the supplies for the projects, because they are just an addition, a little extra gift when people order the stamps with their set. So part of this video will be included for them. So I'm going to add these tiny little leaves that I actually have not even touched, I don't think, in this set. And I'm going to put some back here just because you're going to see the back of this on the back of the card. I'm just going to wash this real quick, just so I don't make a huge mess. All right, so we're finished with that one. All right, I'm going to use that later, so we'll leave that sit there. Excuse me. I am going to emboss this saying here. We'll go ahead and do all of our parts, and then we can glue that together. I'm going to use my embossing buddy, which I still use, and they can be bought online if you don't have one of those, because Stampin' Up! No longer sells those. So I can actually share that link with you if you need that. It takes away the static and the fingerprints that could be on your paper and will really make your project look bad, because the powder will stick to all of that. It's so fine. So I highly recommend it. I'm not sure why we don't carry it anymore, but we don't. Okay, so I'm gonna grab my heat tool here and my tweezers because I don't have a clipboard here. So give me a second to heat this. Be able to see the gorgeousness in a second. How pretty that is. All right. I think I'm finished embossing, so get rid of that. All right. Oops. And whew, almost dropped it. Okay. I just need to get my sample in front of me here so I know what I'm doing. It always helps to have a sheet in front of you. All right, so one more thing we need is our ribbon. And I'm going to cut a piece of this because the reason I chose to do this one first is because the fact that you can't get this ribbon right now makes me really careful about how much I use. So, and I had already designed this on my other cards, and you may have seen the video that I did showing you how to do this. If you just take this ribbon and snip down through the center, and I'm going to be able to use this for a bunch of different cards, and I'll show you why in a minute. I'm trying to stay in the center as much as possible, but it won't be perfect. Okay, I'm going to put that one aside. I'll be able to use that for more, but this one piece, I'm going to actually pull out a couple of the strands because I want them for my next card. And also, I'm pulling a couple out because I'm not sure that I will have the full strand here because of how I cut it. So I have 3 right here. And, oh wow, it looks like they went the whole way. Because I don't want to lay this down, this is for the next card, I'm going to go ahead and just tie this because otherwise I'm going to make a mess out of it. So give me a second, it'll be ready for the next card. You really have to keep everything nice and together as you do this because it's 3 separate strands that you're working with and you don't want to get them mixed up. And now I can just tighten that up. You definitely want to make sure it's good and tight, otherwise. And then I'm going to just trim it a little bit. You can see that one of them was a little shorter, which is because of, you know, it wasn't cut perfectly in the middle. And but that, hopefully I won't lose that. Okay, so now this one is for this card. I'm going to go ahead and tie it. You can see there's a little bit of just some of the weaving on the end, but it still looks very pretty. And I could even take more pieces out of that if I wanted to. Let me just scoot this down just a little. And we'll straighten that one out a little bit. And you just pull it till it's where you want it to be. And then if you want, you can even go ahead and pull some of these strands loose, because that'll be a really pretty addition to your card. You see those little gold filaments on there? I'm not happy with how this is laying, so give me a second. Okay, and then I'll go ahead and do this to the other side too, so that they're both the same. And we have some of those pretty gold filaments. I'm gonna just trim that a little bit. Okay. So now we have that bow. All right, so we're ready to start putting together. Let's see if this is dry yet. It's not terrible. It feels a little bit wet, and that makes me nervous. So I'm going to go grab the other one. So talk amongst yourselves for a second. Okay. Of course, I had it at the whole other end of my stamp room. So these are the pieces that I did earlier. And they're good and dry. So I'm going to go ahead and put adhesive down the side here. And it looks like I have this a little wider than it needs to be, but it'll overlap a little, and I'm not too worried about that. I don't want a lot, so I'm trying to be careful not to squeeze it too much. Okay, got that pressed on there good. It doesn't look terrible. I knew that ink was going to come through the other side, but I don't think that looks terrible to show through there. And then let's go ahead and put this piece on. This is about 3/4 of an inch, maybe a little bit more. And I made everything 5.5 inches to go from the top to the bottom, so that it's all uniform. And I'm trying to think who I copied this design from. I believe it looks like I'm going to be trimming the edges a little bit. They're coming over here a little. I think it was that new lady that I found from Australia. Her last name is Raja something. The other card I know was from Anna Hellman, who is my new, I don't know. I was telling Linda yesterday that I met her in one of the chat rooms during our leader event, and then she spoke in Demonstrator Planning Place, I believe, in the links that I sent to you guys. She talked about why to invite people to join Stampin' Up! And I just love her. I don't know why. I can't wait to meet her because there's something about her that draws me to her. And now I'm loving her ideas as well. And they're just popping up on my, like, when I'm doing searches for stuff. And I'm like, oh, that's Anna Hellman. So anyways, I don't know. Maybe you'll like her too. So check it out. So let me just pop these extra little pieces out of here. I tried to use my brush to get most of them out, but there's a few that were left. And if you look at this one and look how pretty those things are, when they came out on my cutting plate, they were so cool. And I'm going to show you what I did with them on the inside of this card, which I'm not doing because I just wasted them there. But look what I did here on the inside. I just took them and used my take your pick tool, added a little bit of glue, and just as I took them off, I put them on my card, just to add that little, I hated to waste it. I see that stuff that comes out and I'm just like, oh, so pretty, I have to use it. Okay, now we're ready to stick this on, and I'm going to put plenty of Seal Plus here. You could use tear and tape if you want, but this is going to be a movable piece, and so you definitely want to use something heavy duty. You could use some green glue. I'm going to just stick that really good on there. Okay, now we're ready to start decorating this. I know that this is going to go about here. It's going to cover that hole. I hope that you can see better than me, because I don't know. When I look at this screen, I have the light down on it because when I'm working at my computer, the glare is bad for me. So when I look on here to see what you're seeing, sometimes I feel like it's not bright enough, but hopefully it is. Okay. Let's see. Let's go ahead. I have some things that are going to go under here. So this is the one from, whoops, there's a piece in there. Yep. This is the piece of gold shimmer vellum, and it looks really pretty with die cuts like this. So that's going to go there. Let's go ahead and I'm just going to put a touch of green glue right here. I don't need a lot of it. It's mostly going to stick towards the bottom there. I certainly don't want to put too much high because I don't want it to stick to my card, because this needs to open. And so I'm just going to put this right here, hold that down for a few seconds, and I'm going to do the same with these leaves. While that dries, let me go ahead and put some glue on here and here and here. Looks like I have some more pieces to take out there, guys. Sorry about that. I am really impressed. Hopefully you already got some of this glitter stuff from Celebration. I'm sorry if you didn't, but it is really incredible. It die cuts nicely. I'm trying to stick that on there. Yep, I still missed one here. I thought it looked a little full. And then we'll put a little bit more green glue here. All right. Looks like I got some on the edge there. All right. Let's see, I'm going to put dimensionals on this piece. And, all right. And, oh, one more thing. Shoot, do I have? Yeah. I wanted to use these branches. I hadn't used them in my class projects, but they're so cool, and they make a nice little addition to your leaf project. So I just popped one on here. And this is where, when you talk about case, I heard a new description for that, and copy and selectively edit. And so that's one of my edits. The other edit was this ribbon, which I changed and did a different ribbon. Let me go ahead and stick this leaf down here. And I think that I just want to get rid of this stem. I don't really want it to show underneath there. So stick that down, and then I'm ready to put this piece on. And I don't want it to be straight because everything else on the card is straight, so it's going to go off at a little angle. And then I will pop these little guys. I have glue on them just in here randomly. And we'll let this one sort of overlap that paper. And then last but not least, we have our bow, which I will use a glue dot for. And we'll pop that on there. And I think that is it. Oh, no, it's not. We have one more thing, guys. The really important thing, if I can find it here, is our gems. Our brush metallic adhesive back dots. Love, love, love these things, as you know. And I'm going to just grab my take your pick tool and add some of these. Just pop one there, and we'll put another one here. And then where do I have my other one? I'm going to pop one right up here. Okay, so now we're finished. Looks like I glued that down. That glue dot went through the hole. Hey, that's pretty nice though. It gives it a little bit of, and it looks like I glued it up there a little bit. Let's get the adhesive eraser and just take that off. I definitely don't want that gluing. Got a little too high there on my piece of glitter paper. We'll just take that off so that doesn't stick again. But I sort of like the idea of this because that presses down and glues nice, but yet it still comes up without damaging the card. So there you go, guys. There's a little new trick for you. So there you go. There's that one. All right, I have one more that's even more. Another fun technique for you. Oh, before I finish, I'm going to go ahead and stamp a leaf on my envelope so that it's ready to go. And I'll just do this one. Ooh, that almost looks black. It's so dark. I just love the spatter around it. It really gives a nice effect. That's all I have to do. And you'll see in a minute, I embossed these for the next card. And when you die cut it, just of course, you lose all of those, most of those dots. So, you know, it's just so versatile. Okay. All right, let me just switch out here. Give me 2 seconds to get the next supplies here. We are going to, if you saw my video last night, I showed the shimmer paste for this little lamb on my business page, Cindy Fodor Stampin' Up. Cindy Fodor Stamper. If you search that, you'll be able to find it. I showed a bunch of ideas with the lamb celebration set, and I showed how to put shimmer paste on the lamb. And that was only because I was inspired by doing this project earlier in the day. And so this is the card that I'm going to show you. This is the one that was inspired by Anna Hellman. You see that gorgeous shimmer with the design there. Okay, so that's the one we're going to work on next. And we're using the same colors. So Blackberry Bliss. This time I'm using very vanilla instead of white. You'll see that how nicely Blackberry Bliss goes with either of them. And now I have a piece of our brushed gold cardstock cut out, and then that leaf I was telling you about embossed in gold and then die cut, which isn't a perfect die cut. And then I also have some strips of the brushed gold for the edges, and it looks like I lost one of those. I also have another branch, and yeah, I'm going to be really mad at myself. All right, it's somewhere here. And then of course we have our envelope. So, all right, so what I need to start with is this. I need to stamp this piece before we add the other, the embossing paste to it. So let me do that first. And I'm going to use soft suede and blackberry bliss and my stamps. So what I did was I inked this in soft suede, the wood grain, and I stamped it, and then I moved it over and stamped it again, and then I came up here opposite and stamped it, and then stamped it again, because I wanted the wood grain to sort of cover that whole area, but I'm also going to add the dots, and so I didn't want it to be really dark in these areas where I'm going to actually do the spatter looking dots. So I'm going to put those, turn it this way, here and here. Okay, so the stamping's done, and now we can add our paste. The fun's about to happen, guys. How many of you guys have used our masks and our paste? I would love to know if you've ever done the regular embossing paste or the shimmer white. The difference is night and day. I will tell you, I've worked only with the regular embossing paste before, and seriously, night and day. I just cannot believe. You know what? Just real quickly, I'm going to go ahead and stamp. Did I stamp those already? Shoot. I think I forgot to bring paper for that. Oh well, I'll do it on this. I need to stamp this So Thankful for You, and I took that from the pumpkin, the Pretty Pumpkin set, and I do need one of those. So I'm going to mess up my other piece of paper here, but that's okay. Okay, and then I can close these and get rid of those. All right. Okay, so I'm going to make sure I've got my scrap paper down here, and I'm going to just place this right over my card. And the paste is amazing. It's like icing. It's so soft and fluffy compared to the other paste that was really dried out. We actually had to add water to that last fall, I believe. We did it for a scrapbook page or a decor page, and yeah. So this is totally different and really fun and easy to use. So I'm going to get a little bit on my spatula, and I just want some first at the top here. So I'm going to just scrape it on where I want it, and then I'll scrape it across so that it falls into all those holes. And then you just come back and you just turn it sideways, turn your spatula sideways and scrape it off. All right, now I want some more. I don't want too much on the color because it definitely tends to affect the color, but I will have some of it down here. So I'm going to go ahead and put some down here in this corner. I definitely want some on my vanilla because that's where it really shows up nicely. Again, I'm scraping it off good because I don't want to waste it. You know what? I might just put a little bit in here. You just can't have too much, right? You can't have too much of a good thing. Okay, so I'll scrape that back in. Close my lid. Wipe off my spatula, which done, clean. Okay, pick this up. And just be careful to set this aside to completely dry. So I'm going to set that aside for a minute. It dries really fast, but I'm going to show you what I have prepared. I already had a container of water because I don't want this to dry on here. So I'm just going to throw that in there. And what I found and was shocked at was I put this in here and I squished it around. I didn't touch it, and all of the stuff came off. Just like that. Like, I didn't even have to scrub it. And truthfully, if you saw me clean after our class with that other paste, you know that it was not that easy. And I can just wipe it off and it's done. It's clean. It's ready to go. But if I didn't have time to clean it, I could just let it lay in that water till I, you know, had time to dry it off. But yeah, so there it's clean and done. So very, very impressed. I will definitely use this stuff more often because it's so easy to take care of. All right, so let's get back to our card. While that's drying, we will finish building our card. And where's my bone folder? There it is. It's hiding. Got that a little wet, but we're going to cover most of that. Okay, and I didn't find my other gold strip. I probably dropped it when I almost spilled my water. The container, everything, I carry stuff in big loads when I come in here to video, and yeah, then I lose some of it. But you'll get to see at least the idea of putting this together. So let me think what else I need. So I need to cut out this So Thankful. And you know, there's not a die cut for this, but it's really easy. And I just want to show you that you just want to stay smooth. So even if you stop, come back and just smooth it out. I guess it would help if I hold it where you guys can see it. So even if I stop there, I'm going to try to start and not leave a V, but rather do a nice, just a sweeping look. And not a real abrupt, which that was right there. That was too abrupt. I got a point there. I don't want that. And I'll just come in here and finish it out with a nice sweep. You see how pretty that looks? So sweeping curves are the key for that. Let's go ahead and put some dimensionals on these things. Definitely going to pop this one up. And I'm going to put one at the top of this leaf. The bottom I'm going to glue down, so I'm not going to put any there. And let me just lay this on here for, oh, I want to show you something else in this. So if you look at this, you can see there's little spots here where I just caught the edge of the pattern. And I want to get rid of that. And I found that if I just come in, I can actually just scratch that right off. If you do it right away, it's probably better, but it actually works even now, even though it's dried a little bit. And I'll show you something else in just a second. Let me just get a couple spots here that I don't mind if it's part of one, like here and here, but I don't want just a tiny little piece because I think that looks just messy, like there's a little spot that came through. And I found that if I take this sand eraser, which I also bought online, thanks to one of my customers showed it to me. If you get a little spot of ink on your card, you can actually use this to take it off. It actually takes a little layer of the paper off, and but it really works so nicely. I don't know how many projects I've saved because I have this little eraser. Okay, so that's a little bit better. And then you'll notice that there was some hanging off the edges a little bit, so you could actually take this and just run across the edges a little bit and get like a little piece of sandpaper, right? Just get rid of those edges that are sticking out over. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and glue this onto our card. I'm just going to put my adhesive on here instead of on that paper because I don't want to turn that over. And then we can just stick this right down. And you can, I don't know if you can tell, but I'm handling it very like roughly because it's almost completely dry already. Okay, now like I said, I'm missing my other piece of this, which I really like to glue them at one time because it's so much easier. I'm going to grab my mat here because I'm going to make a mess if I don't. This is where a sponge would come in handy, but I don't think I have one in here. Again, if you can see the glue, you have enough, and less is more, especially for something this small. And when you're using glimmer paper or foil paper, it can get really messed up if you get glue on it. So I'm trying to be very careful. And so that's going to go there, and then the other one, when I find it, will go on the opposite side. Okay, so now we're ready to build our design. And again, I wanted to use the branch because I felt like it wasn't getting enough love, so I added that. Just going to use a little bit of green glue. Thank you guys for joining me. Don't forget to let me know that you're here. Let me know that you're watching, because that's really encouraging to me. And I just got too much there now. I wanted to add a little bit up there. Okay, now I said that I only put one glue dot here, and I need this one too. I'm going to put some glue down here because I want that to stick flat. And let's go ahead and add a little bit of glue to this. And notice I'm just staying in the areas where it's wider, because I don't need to glue every little spot down. You don't need a ton. Green glue is wonderful, and it will hold well. You might have to hold it down for a few seconds because it is a wet glue and it has to dry just a little bit. Especially on the foil, it seems like it takes a little bit more time, because even the back of the foil has like a finish on it. Okay, so next is this one. Oh, I already have that taken off. I'm going to stick that one in here. And then we have our saying, and it's ready to go. And I'm going to cover all of my stems. Voila. And remember the bow that we made earlier with the fibers of that ribbon. So now we're going to stick that on with a glue dot. I wish we had half glue dots. And this is actually where, if you use those little ones that come with paper pumpkins sometimes, that will come in handy. But what I do is I'll stick it down and then just pick it up with maybe this. And I just tend to wrap it on itself so that it's not all sticking out and showing. And just going to tuck that right there. And then don't forget the bling. I'm going to come back with the brush metallic dots, and we're going to throw some of those on here. Looks like I'm out of the small ones, so we'll use the big ones. All right, so we need a vanilla piece for the inside, and I don't have that here, but there's the finished card, since this one doesn't have the gold on it. And we still need to do our envelope. So I have a vanilla envelope, which, by the way, are on low inventory, guys. I believe I saw that. If you need vanilla envelopes, you better hurry and grab them if they're still available. And we're going to do that same leaf, but this time I'm going to do it in the soft suede. And I think I'll go ahead and stamp 2 of those. And maybe one more back here. I'm not sure if there's enough ink there for the third one, but we'll see. Yeah, just enough. All right, so there's another card ready to go in the mail. And I hope that you enjoyed that. I hope that was helpful. We've got a few new tips and tricks. And yes, I'm sorry it was longer today, but I thank you for joining me. I hope that you go have some fun stamping. Don't forget to share it with others. Don't forget, the other thing I forgot to mention is World Card Making Day is coming up really soon in October. Is it next weekend? Not this coming weekend? So hopefully you have a plan for that. I will be announcing my plan really soon. I'm very excited about it. So, all right. Thanks, ladies. I appreciate it. Have a good day. God bless.